Florida, and here we are again with another part of our Black History segment. Today we have Mr. Jim Nimmons, who is going to tell us a little bit about himself and his family. So today we're just going to ask you some questions about your life, your military life, you and your family. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm James Nimmons, born and raised in South Carolina, a little town called Denmark, 9 miles from Norway, 4.5 miles from Sweden. And since I left there, there's a little town outside of Denmark called Finland. Finland has 2 buildings. But graduated from high school there at Voorhees High School and Junior College. Went to the military shortly after. Stayed 22 years.
Hey, tell me a little bit about your growing up, your parents, siblings.
Well, I'm the second of 8, and 4 who passed on, so it's still 4 of us left. Two of us boys and 2 girls. My father was a sharecropper. Most people don't know what sharecropping is. Webster has its definition, and I have mine. Sharecropping in South Carolina back in the 40s and 50s was a lifestyle that's one step above slavery. And so my dad had a mule. There many days I should have been in school. I was plowing that mule. So when I graduated from high school, I graduated on about a Thursday. I did not leave home on Monday because that was a holiday. I left on Tuesday. Went to the military for
And that's
a lot
when
of years.
that's when you went in the military?
Yes, about 4 or 5 days after high school.
And how many years did you serve in the military?
Military, I served 22 years.
20 years, so that's a
22.
career, right?
22 years all over.
What was it like being African American during that era in the military?
In the military during those years, even though in the books it says total integration, well, that didn't mean a whole lot to a lot of those old carryover sergeants from World War II, because this was 55, 56 during those years. I didn't have any problem with my coworkers, but some of those old sergeants were headaches. You know, they just like their work. You know, those guys taught me a lot. I was a instrument trainer, flight simulator technician, background electronics. So all of us guys that came in, let's say after 1950, went to school, you know, 9 months, 10 months up in Illinois. Those old guys out of World War II, they just got assigned a job. So they didn't know anything about the real stuff. But our background was electronics,
Okay.
which was served me well when I got out, served me quite well.
So when you got out of the military, what did you do?
Went to work for South Coast Air Quality Management District, Diamond Bar, California. I was a station operator, field engineer, putting up air pollution station, taking down air pollution station, calibration, operation, you name it, we did it. The field duty really. Paid good retirement, super good retirement.
So you retired from the military and then you retired from that company? Is
Yeah.
that what brought you down here? Down south?
We came here for permanent retirement, like I told her. I came here, the wife was still there, she was social worker for the county, and she was taking her time not coming. So I was here for quite a few years without her. And I got bored, went to Lockheed for 10 years, got tired of those crazy people, and retired from there. So I retired from the Air Force, Air Pollution, and Lockheed.
Oh, wow. So you went retired from 3 places.
It takes that to live a good life. I love
So,
good stuff.
so you're married, you were married in the military.
Yep.
So tell us a little bit about that.
Well, let's see. I met her about the 16th of March, 1958. I'd seen her before, but you know, I was a 2-striper and she was a 1-striper. And we sort of hit it off, and We had a courtship until November that year. We got married in November. So we were married 62 years. I must have been a toddler.
And what was
Yeah.
it like being, when you traveled, did she always travel with you? And do you have children?
It was.
You have one.
Well, during those years, early years in the military, if the female got pregnant, married, or single, they had to get discharged, regular discharge. But they changed that about 1970. So we adopted one son,
Okay,
and he's 51 years old now in Southern California.
okay. So once you got out of the military and all of those wonderful other retirements, what do you and your wife do with your time now? Do you travel or what do you guys do?
Well, we did so much in the military. Since we've been here, we do a lot of bus trips from the senior citizen center that she attends over in East Point. So we've been to Canada and all of New Mexico, Texas, Florida, back.
So tell me a
New
little
York.
bit about where you were stationed when you were in the military.
Oh, gosh. Oh, basic training in San Antonio, Texas. Tech school, what do we call it, in Illinois, that snows winter 1955 when I was in Illinois. I was in Illinois, and I went to school from 6 at night to 12 midnight, and some nights that snow was 12 inches deep. So I'd only seen snow twice prior to that. Okay, and from there to West Palm Beach, Florida, to 3 years. From there to Oklahoma City, 3 years. From there to Germany, which was like an extended vacation, for 4 years. California for 2.5 years. Back to Florida for 2.5 years. Alaska for 3 years. And Abilene, Texas for 2.5 years, then retired. I figure we move an average of every 2.5 years.
Every 2.5 years.
I put up more curtain rods than anybody else. Yeah.
So was your wife senior to you or junior to you in the military?
She was, for the most part, senior. She was in an open field. She was a supply logistic, and it was a big field. Mine was a small unit. The average base would have 50 supply people. In my unit, we'd have 10 or 12. So her promotion was a bit wide open for her more so than I was. So she retired at E8, and I retired at E6. And plus, now I was in a field that paid extra pay for the technology, so most of the time the pay was pretty low.
Pretty much the same.
Yeah.
So if you had one thing that you could leave a little nugget for us, what would that one thing be that you could tell us that you either did in your life, or a tradition that you did, or something that you really believed in the whole time you were in your lifetime?
For me, well, first, I was mentioning my son. We got him at 3 years, 3 months old. And he grew up, I taught him to read the magazine where it says smoking is dangerous to your health. Now, he can read that at 4 years old, no problem. And he still talks about stuff like that. But for me, work hard, do what you're supposed to do, and be responsible. Take care of yourself health-wise, and not too many women, in his case, not too many women and all that stuff. Take care of,
Okay.
and just being a decent individual. That's where we were brought up,
Mhm.
We're non-drinkers, for the most part, non-smokers. In the military, everybody drink beer. I don't drink no beer.
Mhm.
None of that stuff. I drink milk, orange juice, and grape juice, you know. But just being a decent person, that's what we were, poor people out there in that country, and my parents spent their lifetime trying to provide the basics for the 8 of us. Well, there was never more than 6 at a time, because when the last ones came, the first 2 were gone, you know, and stuff like that. So just be a decent person, nice to people, respectful. That's what I said. That's what I did, and you know, the guys taught me a lot. The guys I worked with taught me a lot.
Well, thank you, Mr. Jim. We really appreciate you coming out today and allowing us to interview you and hear about your life.
Yeah.